In this day and age, companies feel pressured to change faster than their competitors, to come up with new technologies, new products, new designs, and completely groundbreaking improvements before anybody else. This need for rapid change gave birth to the Agile method, an iterative workflow with 4 core principles in mind. Agile originated in the software development industry because many organizations found that as they were developing their new products and ready to roll them out, their customers' needs had changed. In this video, we will discuss what Agile really is, how do you integrate change management into that workflow, and of course, its practical application. If you stick around to the end of the video though, you'll also get to see how the ADKAR model integrates into an Agile workflow. My name is Nick, and we are AndChange. First things first, this video is not about transitioning from a traditional waterfall model to an Agile one. If you're interested in seeing a video on that topic, leave a comment in the section below and we will be all too happy to oblige. There is a difference between an Agile organization and the Agile methodology. Being Agile is an attribute that characterizes an organization as fast, flexible, resilient, and prepared. Agility can give a company the competitive advantage of being the first in their field by simply outchanging their competitors. Agile, the method, on the other hand, is an iterative development approach that utilizes collaborative effort through self-organizing teams. This method enshrines 4 core values. These are individuals and interactions over processes and tools, working software over comprehensive documentation, customer collaboration over contract negotiation, and responding to change over following a plan. There are 12 principles of Agile, but I'm afraid we don't have enough time in this video to cover them all. If you're interested in seeing them though, we'll leave a link in the description box below. So, to sum it all up, being Agile is something we are, whilst the Agile method is something we do. So why is change management critical to an Agile process? If you haven't seen our video on what is change management, here's a brief recap that explains it. Change management is a process that delivers tailored change plans that drive the individual outcomes in the people who deliver the objectives. Both Agile and change management are initiative-led approaches that are integral to each other. This is particularly evident when we unpack those 4 core values. For example, individuals and interactions over processes and tools really speaks to the core of change management, the people side of change. If you think back to the second tenet of change management, which is organizational change requires individual change, then it's easy to see that change management already prioritizes the individual over the processes and the tools that you may be changing. Responding to change over following a plan. This core value of Agile almost seems as though it was written by a change manager. It emphasizes the importance of managing change and recognizes that the plans should be living documents. Change management plans are by definition flexible and adjustable according to the progress of the project. I could go on and on and on, but I think you get my point. Change management is not only an asset to the Agile method, but maybe even a necessity for the Agile method. So let's get to the heart of the matter. What does change management even look like in an Agile environment? Change can be iterative or sequential. Sequential change is like the traditional waterfall model, where you have a series of steps that follow on from each other. Iterative change, on the other hand, is more like Agile, where you have cycles of change that bring us closer to the desired outcome of the project. In Agile, these cycles or iterations can sometimes be called sprints, and they consist of 4 steps: discover, design, develop, and deploy. There needs to be some planning before the sprints can begin, and between each sprint there will be a release. The sustainment of those releases is how we achieve the desired results of the change. The ProSci change management tools have been designed in such a way that you can use them in either of these 2 workflows. When we look at the ProSci 3-phase process, you will notice a repeating arrow over phase 2. This indicates where our iterations will occur. So, a ProSci Agile change may look something like this. In phase 1, we would prepare our Agile approach to this project. Phase 2, we would manage change repeatedly for every cycle. And when we've reached the sustainment phase, we will be executing phase 3, sustain outcomes. This is the enhanced ProSci methodology. It accommodates iterative processes and, more importantly, enables change practitioners to more easily manage change. If you're already a ProSci practitioner and want to know more about the enhanced ProSci methodology, check out the link in the description box below to our website. There are many different workflows that have evolved in the Agile methodology, but for the purposes of this example, we're going to focus on the Scrum workflow. In a Scrum workflow, you usually start with the plan step, and it is here where you start to look at the product backlog and start to plan your sprints. But at a change management level, here you start to build your awareness and your desire for the change overall. As we already know, Agile emphasizes responding to change over following a plan. And what that means for us change managers is that we may have to go back to building awareness and desire as the sprint cycles continue. Fortunately, and this is nothing new for us change managers, even in a more traditional waterfall approach, we have to revisit awareness and desire throughout the life cycle of a project as a means of mitigating resistance. The sprints will be where things get interesting. And that's because you will start to build knowledge, ability, and reinforcement at the sprint level for every sprint. This means that these ADKAR elements are no longer built at the project level, but rather built at the sprint level. In other words, we will only focus on the knowledge and ability gaps of that specific sprint and not the overall outcomes. We would also reinforce the outcomes of each sprint. After all, Agile proposes that by completing the goal of each and every sprint, you are achieving the goal of the project as a whole. So by building knowledge, ability, and reinforcement for every sprint, you are contributing to those ADKAR elements for the end goal as well. At the conclusion of the Scrum workflow, you would then also build reinforcement at the project level. And this is done primarily to sustain those long-term goals. Don't forget to check out our videos on the ADKAR model explained if you'd like to know more about how to build each and every ADKAR element. Like with any other project management approach, managing the people side of change is a massive part of the Agile method. Maybe even more so, given that Agile requires you to focus on people more than processes, tools, etc. If you're interested in learning more about integrating change management in an Agile environment, then be sure to check the description box below for a link to our one-day workshop. If you found this helpful, please remember to subscribe and give us a like. Thank you all for watching. From myself, Nick, and everyone here at AndChange, happy changes!